I think that the narrative is, and the core of the message should be, that the energy industry in general, and companies like GasTerra in particular, are here to help society to find a solution to what is one of the main challenges of our time. We want to help. We do not want to obstruct.
Yeah, together, together
Yes.
with society.
So what we would like to do is, we have been part of the solution for 50 years.
But it takes a lot of courage, I think.
We admit, we are part of the problem now. But we think that at the same time we are part of the solution. Let's bring that together. And let's find a solution together. But it's difficult because it's a kind of paradox.
It is.
And people don't like to deal with paradoxes. They like to deal with simple truths. And that's the one thing I don't have. Simple truths. The big concern is, of course, that is it possible to, well, I don't like to speak in terms of winning and losing, but okay, win this debate. And what I mean with win this debate is that you can do something productive with it. We heard about a protest in Groningen against production of gas from Groningen, the extraction, the earthquakes and everything connected with it. And then there are some radical groups who say, zero, you have to go back to zero. The result of that is simply that we do not have the gas to heat our homes. So that's not an option.
But that could be a question. If you formulate it as a question.
Not as a statement or
exactly.
And the answer I regularly get from these people is, it's not my problem, deal with it. You are clever, aren't you? And then what do you do with that?
I think you have to listen to society and then you can formulate your answers.
So how can we find a solution? Because everybody knows what the problem is and everybody wants it solved, but how can you do that together?
I think you have already an important podium for that. The website you have from GasTerra, in which you are starting this debate.
The Energiepodium is an open invitation to everybody who's involved in the energy debate to share their vision, their views with others. And that works, it's no problem. But that is, in a way, easy, because it's politics, it's abstract thinking, it's people who are already informed. So the debate, although the vision may differ, is easier. But here you talk to people who just all of a sudden were confronted with something they didn't ask for, and they are right that they are entitled to a solution. This aspect of framing, of course, the research is also about framing. And I've noticed that for us framing is difficult. Why is it difficult? Because we are a vested interest. And there is this old wisdom that says that an incumbent never can be part of a transition, because you're an incumbent, so you have an interest to defend. I don't agree with that. You are part of the system, and the system is not going to solve this. We need new people, new organizations, new methods. I can give many examples. For instance, we are confronted with gas is a fuel from yesterday. Well, we know it isn't. I mean, we are in the middle of it, and we are in a transition, and it's going to take decades before we can stop using natural gas. On the other hand, the frame, gas is yesterday, and renewables, I represent the future, I represent something good, is very difficult to counter because they have an agenda. They are not necessarily interested in the nuance. And we are, well, nuance is our business. And the problem is energy, we need enough of it, and the problem is climate, because it's changing because of our activities. So let's face it, we are part of the problem. Being part of the problem, we have to become part of the solution. How can we contribute to society to make it happen? Which means that sometimes you have to be able to hurt yourself about the pure business.
Yeah.
And then you have to admit that, first of all, natural gas will disappear eventually, which is our product. That's a funny thing to say for a baker. Eventually we don't need bread anymore. And secondly, it's something that goes to the core of the issue, and that you have to reform yourself to stay relevant. Now, this is a difficult debate, because a couple of weeks ago I was in Brussels where I debated this issue with other gas companies, and they were shocked in a way. Some of them were shocked.
I think so.
Because they said, wait a minute, guy, what are you telling us? You're telling us that in the end we will be obsolete. I said, no, if you don't want to become obsolete, you have to change your ways.
Exactly.
And that's not the communication strategy. It starts with a business strategy. That's a reorientation. And we as communicators are not in the business of telling companies what to do.
No.
We're advising them, and then we can help them to be more effective with what is happening. And we are in the middle of that debate. And research like you have done helps us to convince those who are pretty conservative to say, okay, listen, let's face it, this is a situation we're not going to get anywhere if we don't change our ways. I can say that at least my colleagues, so the communication specialists in the industry, they agree with the analysis. And they also agree with the fact that we should change our strategy. It should become bottom-up instead of what it has been in the past, top-down. So I see movement there, and I use the research for that. So it's not only GasTerra anymore. So if there will be follow-up research, then I would like to commit the others as well. It is more than just a story from GasTerra. Well, the research gives us a basic insight in what is happening in the discourse about gas and about energy, about production, etc. But the follow-up should be, I'm convinced, as a whole, the gas sector, the industry, that we adopt a new strategy to deal with this issue. And I also want to be honest about our motives. Our motive is to stay relevant. Our motive is to stay in business.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
But we think that we can combine the desires of society, the needs of society, with the needs of individual companies. Because if we wouldn't believe in that, we wouldn't believe in our own system. But I don't have anything else. But it's difficult because it's a kind of paradox.
It is.
And people don't like to deal with paradoxes. They like to deal with simple truths. And that's the one thing I don't have. Simple truths.